That's right. We're going live, and this is a real good thing because got a lot to talk about tonight. This is Oro Cass talking for Finders Keepers, and that's O and P's Finders Keepers for anybody typing it out on their machine. Now, something we're going to talk about tonight is we got the go ahead and are in the process of moving into our local indoor flea market. And it's really special because I got two spaces that are back to back and they're in the middle of the floor, which means I'm going to have walk through space where people can walk all the way through. All the spaces around me are little cubby hole spaces that are U shaped. Mine is a walk through, goes all the way through from one side of the middle island to the other. Really cool. Uh, when I got signed up to get the space, the lady that was evacuating, leaving was had a jewelry case, a lit jewelry case, really nice case. The only catch was the top had been broken out of it, so it needs a new top. We're probably going to solve that with about a half-inch thick piece of plexiglass instead of glass, because that bulletproof glass you got to use on top of those cases is expensive. But we're going to do. I hope this microphone's working tonight. It doesn't look like it is. Let me see. Get over here. Yeah, if I get up close, I guess it is. So it ought to be quiet enough to be picking it up. That's a good thing. And we're working on getting a studio set up. I want to have a studio set up because something else that I'm involved with and I'm in the process of learning as far as being involved is voiceover work. We've done over 1,000 hours of radio, internet radio, on Blog Talk Radio, on Spreaker, on Mixler, all of those. We tried them all, and most of our time was on Blog Talk. For years, we did uh, in the mid 2000s. We did radio. We were doing shows, 3 hour shows, 7 nights a week. We did that for over a year, I think, straight. And then there was a lot of 3 hour shows 3 times a week. Um, there was quite a few 5 times a week. So we logged over 1,000 hours of internet radio. If I'm not mistaken, most of that, if not all, is still available to be heard somewhere out there on the internet. I know Blog Talk still has some of it, but anyhow, that had anything to do with what we're doing here. What we're doing here is we're going with what is mine and Paula's first attempt at retail sales. We've done the yard sale thing, we've done the thing on marketplace and so on and so forth. But whenever I started getting units back in May, I made a decision that I wanted to grow a business from it. And the reason why, and this is pretty important, um, back in the 90s, in the mid 90s, we worked for a trucking outfit that was a local outfit in Dallas, Fort Worth. And one of the jobs that we worked on while we were working for this outfit, Paul and I both were working there. Each of us drove a truck and with dump buckets and different types of trailers to haul construction material. And one of the projects we worked on at that point was we had a chance to do loads of clay and in a belly dump situation, and we were lining the pit, the big pit that they had dug that was going to be the county landfill, the newest pit that they had dug. And I forget what year that was. It was 94, 95, something like that. And when we dug that pit, they said it should take it at least 5 to 7 years to fill it up. And just to give you an idea of how quickly we're running out of places to dig great big holes, is that pit filled up in 18 months. So way ahead of schedule. And that was back in the mid 90s when Dallas Fort Worth was just beginning to get the growth that it sees today. You can imagine today it's hard to tell how big a hole they have to dig these days. But anyhow, I said that to talk about the fact that we know all about the landfill situation, and it's really sad because where I get my material or my stuff that we sell is from online abandoned storage unit auctions, and anybody can do it. There's probably half a dozen different websites I've found so far, most of which aren't very good. There's a couple of really good ones. My favorite is one called storagetreasures.com. And if anywhere you are out there in the United States, I'm not sure if it's international or not, but in the United States, I do know you can get on Storage Treasures and sign up. You set up an account, and then you can bid on these storage units, just like they do on the TV show on Storage Wars, except it's on sitting in front of the computer, just like I am right now. And when I first started doing this, it was back in May of this year, is when I discovered I could do it. And so I got a little carried away. I figured because of the way it was set up and the way people could come in and bid from all over the country, there's no way to really tell how many people were on the website or signed up to bid. So I took it for granted there was a lot of people on it signed up. And so I bid, and I was in there doing my thing, picking out just the right units. You can go down through a long list of units, and I saw just the ones I liked and bid on them. They had good stuff in them. And what was crazy was I was bidding, the bids that I was putting in were $30, $40. One was $90. I think the highest bid I paid so far is $165. And we're talking about a storage unit that could be upwards of 10 by 30. I think that's the biggest one I've seen or cleaned out so far. And let me tell you, a 10 by 30 unit has a lot of stuff in it. It took us 2 full days of travel and working on this, on a 10 by 30 we had that was stuffed clear full. There was a little aisleway that just down the middle. The rest of it was stacked up full. We got a lot of great stuff out of it, and that's what's really cool. This little adventure I'm telling you about, if you take that to the next step, is where we started a little company, sole proprietorship, known as O&P's Finders Keepers. We got the Facebook page, we got the website, we got this YouTube channel, and that worked real good because whenever I was doing the storage units back in June, I ended up with 12 units that I actually won flat out. Nobody else came in and bid. So I ended up with 12 units. Now, what's crazy is something I learned the hard way is there's a time limit to clean out the unit. And when they say clean it out, they mean clean. And there's no such thing as a dumpster at a storage unit, at a storage place. There's no such thing. Whenever you bring trash in, you have to take the trash out. So if you win an auction, you win a unit, you have to take the trash out. And so we got 12 units. We decided we were going to see just how many of them we could get, because what was crazy was the one that was the farthest away to the west of here was East Liverpool High, which is 3-hour drive, 2.5, 3-hour drive. And the ones that were the farthest east of here was a 3-hour drive east of DC and Baltimore. So you're looking at a total of 6 hours, 3 each way. And we had 72 hours to pick up 12, and they all laid within this 6-hour band in between, most of which were in Baltimore, DC area. There was 4 or 5 that were in the Pittsburgh area, and then we had one that was in East Liverpool High. And guess what? We figured it out. We ain't going to be able to do 12 units in 72 hours. There's just no way. So I contacted Storage Treasures. I told them, and I said, look, It was an honest mistake. I'm new at this. So, you know, here's the deal. I'm going to go as hard as I can and do as much as I can and get as many of these as I can. And they said, well, here's your deal. If you don't get all of them, we have to uh, cancel your membership on the website. You're not allowed to bid on the website anymore. You're basically blackballed from this whole kind of deal. So I said, well, we don't want that to happen. We got busy. And long story short, we ended up with 7 units out of 12. We weren't banned from the site, thank goodness. And the reason why is because we were right on schedule to get like 11 out of 12. Dead on schedule, working our tails off. We rented a U-Haul, a big 26-footer, and we were right on the money as far as we might just be able to pull this off. And then on the way home from East Liverpool, we were involved in an accident with this 26-foot U-Haul. Lady ran a stop sign, messing with her kids in the back seat, ran right through the stop sign 30 miles an hour and hit the back of the U-Haul truck on the passenger side, right where the back tires are. Blew one of my tires out, totally totaled her minivan. Luckily, nobody was hurt, but I was able to call Storage Treasures at that time and say, look, I've been involved in an accident and there's just absolutely no way I can get all of these. So we got together with them and they figured it out and they called the different storage places and it was all worked out where we were to get a total of 7, which is what we ended up with. And out of those 7, I'm here to tell you, we got a lot of really good stuff. We got a lot of cheap stuff, like, ordinary, what you would think of as yard sale stuff. We got a whole bunch of what I refer to as dollar table. And then the negative side of storage unit auctions is we got quite a bit of stuff that we were to get. We gave away. We gave away all the clothes, basically most of the clothes, 80% of all the clothes, which was a lot of clothes. And then the worst part was there was a lot, and I'm talking about a lot of things that had to go to the dumpster. And I hate having to take things to the dumpster. The whole idea of doing this is to try to repurpose stuff out of these storage units. Because, folks, it's really sad. And I hope the reason I'm sitting here explaining all this is because I hope people get involved. I want people to get involved. You're not the competition if you go out there and do storage units. Some people that are doing them right now might consider you the competition. I'm not one of them. The way I see it, the more that's doing it, the better. And that's because some of these big city units, whenever they have an auction, they'll have 15, 20, 25 units all at the same time. And there's quite a few of them that either don't have very much in them or they have, when you look at the pictures on the website, you can tell that the stuff was putting in real fast or it's real trashy. It could be nasty. It might be old and dusty. There's a lot of different reasons, but there are a lot of units that don't get bid on at all. I'm talking zero. And I asked somebody at a storage place one time, what happens to these units that nobody bids on online? Like I was watching the place where I was had 5 units that were being bid on. There was only 4 that were being bid on. There was one that wasn't. That's why I asked the question. And they told me, they said, well, what we do is we recycle it. We take new pictures and then we recycle it into the next auction. I said, okay, well, how many times do you do that? They said, well, depending on the stuff that's in it, we might do it once. We might do it 2 or 3 times. And then I said, okay, well, what's the ultimate? Let's say you go through 3 auctions. Nobody still bids on it. What happens? He said, we load it up in a truck and it goes to the nearest landfill, to the nearby landfill, and everything goes in the landfill. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're talking about everything I just gathered up out of 7 units across this country from Ohio to Eastern Maryland? Yep. Nobody's interested in it. Nobody's looking at it. And it goes to the dump. So this is the number one reason that I started this business. I hate the idea of stuff going to the dump. It's trash. I mean, the real deal. The, I feel that a solution to landfills is a little thing called incinerators. We've got factories now that they've been able to make the smoke and stuff that's coming out of them fairly clean or pretty much all the way clean. I think we could build incinerators to burn trash and garbage and rubber and everything else where it didn't emit really bad smoke. It can be done. I know it can be. So that's my little kick, my little rant. But I have a personal reason for it simply because, like I said, I was involved with building a landfill one time back in the 90s, and I know how fast they fill up. And I know now, because of this whole storage thing, I now know also why it fills up. I mean, think about it. You get on Storage Treasures, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of, maybe thousands of auctions going on all over the country. I mean, every state, just about every state. And all of them, I know, have the same problem. There's not enough people on the internet bidding on stuff. There's not enough people taking a chance and bidding on the ones that look a little bit crappy. I did a couple crappy ones, and let me tell you, one of the ones that I've done in the past, one of mine, I think we're up to like 14, 13 or 14 units now we've done. And out of all those units, one of the crappiest ones as far as the pictures was concerned was one of the best units I got. It had some of the best stuff. It was worth some of the most money. The people had no idea because the parents had died and the children, they had no idea what was in this unit. They didn't even bother to look at it. They just said, auction it off. And we got it. And it had antiques. It had old antique books. It had magazine collections. I mean, there was all kinds of really cool stuff. But when you look at the pictures on the auction page, it looked all crappy. So it's all a matter of what's in them, not what the pictures look like. You want to keep that in mind if you decide you want to get into this stuff. And that's my rant for tonight. Been working on about 20 minutes, coming up on 20 minutes here. And throat's getting a little dry. I better have me a drink of tea. Mike fell over. That's bad. I guess he got tired. And I'm hoping this mic's working okay. We're going to find out here on the replay in a minute. But anyhow, I'm going to sign off for now. What I do want to say is Miss Paula's getting cards made up for OMP's Finders Keepers. We are located in the 219 Indoor Flea Market here in Garrett County, Maryland. If you're anywhere in the tri-state area and you find yourself around Deep Creek Lake, please come by and see us. We're looking forward to having things up and ready to make our first sale probably about lunchtime Wednesday this coming week. So keep that in mind. If you're local and you're hearing that, you want to stop by and see us on Wednesday afternoon, probably be better Thursday morning or after that. We hope to have a big weekend coming up. We're looking forward to that. So I'm going to pop off here for now. And as I like to say, more later.